We're starting. All right.
Hi, everybody. My name is Amy Pierce-Danders. I see a lot of familiar faces, so thank you for being here today. We're going to talk about taming imposter syndrome, and just wanted to walk through. Technology is not working how I want it. So thumbs up, Erin. I see you. Do you see my screen flipping? All right, perfect. And so I'm going to go over some ground rules, who I am, what imposter syndrome is, how it affects your world. We're in a very condensed format today. And so tons more information is available. As you want to research or reach out, I do want to apologize for my puppies. They have been quiet for the last 5 hours. Now they have lost their minds. So they are out of the room, but if they're too much, let me know. So just want to set a few ground rules, and anything that you attend at E3 is a safe space. I want you to bring your whole self. Yep, there's a swear word on the screen. If you're an asshole, please exit the room. Because I want people to be able to ask the questions, to share, to ask questions. I want your lived experiences to be honored. And we're all in different spaces. And to some, a question might be basic, and to other, it might be extremely advanced. So just know all questions are honored. A little thing about me is we often put ourselves, I'm a career developer, I'm a career services, I'm career advisor, I'm a private practitioner, but our identities are not individualistic. And so this little bit about me, I'm a career life strategist. I identify on the LGBT spectrum. One of the greatest honors of my life is my family, to be a daughter, a sister, an auntie, and so many more of these things. And so I just want you to know that we all wear many hats and so much hardwiring that it all contributes to this imposter phenomenon that we're going through as a gathering. So a little bit about me, always feel free to reach out and ask more. And so what is imposter syndrome? Imposter syndrome is no matter what is behind you, your successes, your achievements, everything. It's sometimes we attribute it to luck and not our hard darn work, as opposed to no matter how many things you can trace, no matter how many pieces of paper, accolades you receive from others, there's always this nagging feeling that it is traced back to luck, not hard work. And so essentially that is what imposter syndrome is. And I'm actually going to do a little bit of education around here right now. It's not a syndrome. It's not an illness. We all feel these effects. And Dr. Pauline Rose Clance started this research in 1978 when she had a group of graduate students who kept coming to her and espousing like, no, I'm not good enough, I can't do this. And she was like, how am I internalizing this? And am I sharing this with others? And so syndrome implies negativity. So I want to encourage everybody on this conversation today to call it a phenomenon. It's something we all experience. It's something we can each overcome and deal with on a regular basis. So Dr. Paulina, as I like to call her, came out with a Clance Imposter Phenomenon Scale, also known as SIPS. And you can Google that and see where you land on the scale. I am also confident that we will send that information out after this workshop as well. So not only can you as a career practitioner see where you land, but also it's a tool that you can utilize with your clients. But I do encourage you, there are so many ways that you can overcome, tame, and neutralize imposter phenomena. So, couple of cartoons, and this is something to share that imposter phenomenon is gender agnostic. However, it does stick with women sometimes a little bit longer, not to take anything away from males, but would love to see a show of hands if you've ever experienced, hey, thanks, Julia, but let me hear from John, and or from our males in the room. How are you doing? Oh my gosh, I have so much on my, oh, I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. You know, and so have you experienced those? All right. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate that. It's so immensely common for us to experience these feelings. And one of the biggest things about imposter phenomenon is we don't talk about it. So we feel like we're alone. And we're not. I dare you to have a conversation with your colleague, your peer, your significant other, and we all have these. So that's the point of this. People who get imposter syndrome, literally everyone feels imposter syndrome at some point in their life. Does it happen on the daily basis? For some individuals, yes. Does it happen on a monthly basis? Yeah, it just depends what circumstances we're put into. And so I just want to share that as a career developer practitioner, whether you are in K-12, early ed, higher ed, private practitioner, there are some extra pressures that come along with the roles that we play that contribute to imposter phenomenon. One of those is that our work is highly individualized. In many fields of work, you got a bag of tricks. Over here, here's my, just so you know, when I get stressed about things, here's my bag of tricks, my lotion, my thinking putty, my balm. Our work doesn't allow that a lot of times. We are meeting people where they are at and where they want to go. And a few tricks doesn't always meet the demand. So you have to have multiples. And so, am I going to be prepared? Am I going to give the right counsel? Am I going to ask the right questions? And I see I have a misspelling on the next one, so I'm so sorry. My apologies, but personal outcomes. What's going to happen if I screw up? Their personal outcomes, their career plus life depends on me. And so we're a sense of personal responsibility, much attached to many human services fields. And so those are some extra pressures that we feel as we go. And then locus of control. I know peopling is not a word, folks, but it is my word. I love peopling. Peopling is hard. And especially when we can't control the outcome. We can have conversations, we can ask questions, we can lead, we can gain commitment, but the ultimate carry out is upon the individuals that we work with. And so that creates some extra pressures for us as individuals. So, what is this about? How many of you have left your job drained as all get out? I appreciate that, Aaron. I appreciate the hands up there. So it's draining. And one of the things that we experience as we're experiencing imposter phenomenon is one more class, one more thing, then I'll be ready. And guess what? It's draining to, and here you are taking this workshop with MichCDA. So hopefully the outcome will be that we bring you value, but also to encourage you to take the step. Because guess what? Marketers feed on our fear. And I just have to read one more book, one more class, one more. And it's draining. We are taking time away from the things that we value to try and defeat imposter phenomenon, but escalate our expertise. So I encourage you, the next time you get that email, just say no. Unless it's from MichCDA, then yes, say yes. Also, it's draining to feel like luck and timing. Yes, if you talk to me on any personal basis, I do believe in serendipitous connections, but your inner gremlin to constantly say your time and your talents were just based on luck and timing, that gets draining. It is hard mentally, physically, and emotionally. And also in our work is the fear of disappointing others. Yesterday, I met with 6 phenomenal people, and each of them exhibited a fear of failure or disappointing others. And I had to remind myself with my thinking putty over here that their work is on them. I can have conversations, I can have questions, I can dig deep with them, but unless they're willing to do the work, their outcomes and their fears don't belong to me. And that I have put in the hard darn work to do this work. And so their fear of disappointment doesn't belong on me, it belongs to them. Again, this is a very big topic, so we're moving quickly because I want to leave room for Q&A at the end. So now we're going to move on to some ways to tame imposter phenomena. One of those big things, excuse me, is to name it to tame it. Those gremlins are there. They're talking in your ear, they're on your shoulder, they're on the hip. But do you allow them the time to speak to you, or do you keep fluffing it off, saying, nope, nope, nope? They're part of our hardwiring. And so allow that saboteur 3 minutes to talk in your ear before you shut it down so that you can recognize. For me personally, my imposter phenomenon is my 2nd grade teacher. I honestly hope she's still around and can hear this. She was not, in my opinion, a very good elementary teacher, and she made me feel like shit about myself, like I couldn't accomplish anything. And it was the 2nd grade, and it set precedents and carried a long time. So my gremlin, her name is Mrs. Moore, and sometimes I gotta let her sit over here before I'm like, shut it down. Just so that I can recognize the self-talk and analyze where it's coming from. So name it to tame it. If you're going to give Miss Moore some time, maybe yours is named Soar, whatever it is, but name it to tame it. Don't bury it deep, because when we bury it deep, it gains strength. And when we acknowledge, we tame it. Other things that you can do to tame imposter syndrome is to do a personal inventory. Go through your old file. I know this seems basic. Rack your brain. We all get these employee reviews. We file them away. We're like, never want to see that again. But there's some great information there, whether it's from a supervisor or 360. Go through your old files, write down your accomplishments. And this is if you are a physical person that likes to see things around you. Shout out to our president-elect. I have right over here on my right a card she wrote me about 18 months ago. And it is purposefully taped to be open so that when imposter phenomena seeks me out, I can see Krista's words. But I also, over here to my left, have a file of cards and notes. I also have an electronic file. And sometimes we feel alone and our gremlins get so big that if you can just pull physically, whether it's electronically or on paper or see visually, we're like, okay, I'm taking the power away from you, Mrs. Moore. And then smile file. Again, what do your friends, what do random people that you meet compliment you on? For me, it's two-sided. Sometimes in the world of business, I'm going to back it up. Amy, you're really energetic and passionate. That means two different things. In the world of personal Amy, it's like, she's going to get that shit done. It's done. In the world of business, sometimes means you're going a little too fast. You're overwhelming. I don't have enough to process. But all of those things are in my smile file to understand that that is part of my persona. And so, what do people tell you you're amazing at? And embrace that, bring that into your work as a career practitioner, exercise that more. And it can be the people, your significant other, your child, your best friend, your favorite auntie, whatever it is. So, those are some techniques to tame imposter syndrome. So, we did promise you as MichCDA that you would walk away with 3 questions to check yourself. And these are 3 questions that when you feel those gremlins appear, that you can say to yourself, they're actually up here on my wall, and I give them out to every client. And yesterday, 4 students that I work with. So 3 questions. Is it true? So that you can understand if there's some validity to it. What is in your control? As career developers, again, we talked about outcome, destiny, different things like that. And what is within your sphere of influence or outcome? And then what vulnerability or core value is making me feel this way? When those gremlins are showing up, it's usually attributed to some sort of hardwiring, some breach of boundary. And so if we stop and ask ourselves those 3 questions, we can all often stop that imposter phenomena and say, hey, Amy, Mrs. Moore's talking some bullshit. She cursed you from the time you were 7. So here you are. We have 5 minutes. So for the next 2 minutes, I would love for everybody on the call to take up a pen, a pencil, and make a commitment contract to you. And what I would love to see you do is write down the one imposter effect that keeps popping in your head. I know that there's something, might be niggling at the back of your neck, it might be right up front, but what kept popping into your head today? And then spend 90 seconds thinking about what vulnerability or core value is making you feel this way. And then how might you tame that beast? Excuse me. The next time it starts talking at you. So we're going to spend about the next 90 seconds just pausing and thinking about that. We have about 30 more seconds, friends. All right, thank you for taking that pause. I know sometimes in workshops, it's a little bit weird to take that pause when others see you on the screen, but it's so important to me that you understand that we as a collective group of humanity feel this. Imposter phenomena is gender agnostic. We feel it at all different times, all different types of spaces, and it's okay to feel great one moment and the next moment like, what the heck? And so I want to thank MichCDA for allowing me to be here today. I promised them 30 minutes and then 15 minutes for Q&A. So up to you if you want to pop into the chat or unmute and ask some questions.
This is Krista with MichCDA, and I have to say, when you were talking, it's so interesting because I don't think of myself as having imposter syndrome until you really started laying it out. I was like, oh my gosh, that one thing that always just needles at me is I don't have my master's degree. And even though I have 25 years of concrete, specific experience and have been recognized as knowing my stuff, that fact just needles me. And so just knowing, like looking at, those 3 bullet points that you spelled out was like really refreshing. Like, okay, the truth is I know my stuff. And for what I'm doing, I have the experience to serve my clients and my students. Not that I don't want to, but I really found the certifications to be a better use of my next level of education.
You know how I feel about that, Krista.
Yeah.
You know your shit. You're my guru.
But it's interesting, even though I have these certifications and I have this experience, it just needles me. So every semester in the fall, every fall, I should start my master's. I should start my master's.
One more.
I know, it's just always true. So thank you for just putting truth back onto that.
Yes. Any more thoughts, questions?
Hi, I have a question. First, thank you for your talk today. It's very informative and very rich. What are some signs that we should look for when working with clients that let us know that imposter phenomenon may be at play?
Yeah, incredible question. I don't think Joe is better than me. I want to ask the pronunciation of your name.
Tangela.
Tangela?
Yes.
Okay, Tangela is better than me. I am behind. Those are some things that you can think about. Last night, I met with a graduate who within 7 minutes was in tears because she's feeling she was a master learner in education and higher ed. Started her first destination job. She kind of sucks at it because she doesn't know what she's doing. And so listening for that hurt, that pain, comparison and competition, Tangela, are all keys that you can look for in your clients.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for the great question. There's always questions. I could have talked for 15 minutes more.
curious, Amy, what even caused you to kind of research the subject to want to do a presentation on it?
For me, to be quite honest, I just want to share with the team. Chris and I are great colleagues, peers, and friends. But it would have been 7 years ago that Krista freed me. I'm not a columns and rows student. And I have lots of credentials now, but I am not a success in a traditional classroom. And 7, 8 years ago, see, I'm like picking off scabs on my arm, even talking about it right now. Krista helped me understand that I wasn't a failure. Because I didn't thrive in traditional places. And through that discovery was, what is all this self-talk that I'm doing and what are my clients experiencing? And so that was my delving into what is imposter phenomenon? What is the self-talk that we do? What are we experiencing as individuals? What are we putting on others? And what are our clients and students experiencing? Just based on the Mrs. Moore of the world, who a moment of time can change a world. And so that's where this purpose and passion came from me, so that we recognize we each have exceptional gifts that can be applied in certain ways, but we need to be aware of those gremlins and self-talk. So thank you, Krista, for letting me know that I'm an orange and a green.
Well, I appreciate that, but I think it's so helpful, like you say, to really remember what our clients, everyone's experiencing it. And so this is really great to really put that focus back in on it. So I appreciate you being vulnerable and sharing some of that today, even your own journey.
Yeah, thank you. I see Michelle Burdick. Think employers can help individuals overcome imposter syndrome as well, creating a culture where it is okay to learn from mistakes and it's okay to ask questions without a person feeling stupid would be so helpful. I have to agree. I mean, yep, I'm with you there, Erin. I am a huge proponent of, I know it's like the trend, it's the thinking for the last 10 years of the design thinking process of iteration, failure, empathy, all of those things. And yes, heck yeah, I agree with you, Michelle, that we need to remove the fear of failure. Thing about failure is we don't know at the edge of the cliff, is there a beautiful staircase that's winding in our favorite environment, or are we just going to fall off? And absolutely, employers can contribute to the success of employees through saying imposter phenomena is real, and heck yeah, go out and fail, but fail forward. Absolutely, Michelle. I totally agree. Any other questions? Comments, thoughts?
I guess I have one question. I wonder like what the relationship with like imposter syndrome might be with like burnout, or someone who feels like they're inadequate at their job, so they work extra hard to be better at their job, and that in turn creates a cycle of burnout.
Tell me how to pronounce. Is it Robel or?
That's correct.
Okay, Robel. Excuse me. So had we had more time, traditionally, those who have high experiences of imposter phenomenon, they overwork and work harder than their peers. So imposter phenomenon contributes to a high level of burnout. And so not only is it draining, but it's expensive in so many ways. So you are on point in that, unfortunately, we have a lot of people that exit our sector because of burnout, because we're trying harder and working faster than so many others because it is such an inflicting feeling. Is that helpful? Is that where you were going, Robel?
Yeah, I think that's helpful. I just, there was a question earlier about how to talk to like the people we work with in that as well, which is kind of odd when we say we can't tell them, well, don't work as hard as you're working. So it becomes an odd cycle when you're speaking to someone about this and people who are maybe going through it themselves. Like, do you just slow down working? Do you tell them to take a vacation, or how do you go about it?
So what is today is Tuesday. So I've told 5 people so far between Monday and Tuesday, you're going to make mistakes. It's the hard truth. It is what it is. And the instance of feeling forward is speaking those truths. Sometimes we need to counsel our clients in whatever form that they are, that, yeah, you need a vacation, but it can be as I have one client who is 46 years old, and right now, to tame those beasts, she went and got a 4-year-old coloring book. We discovered she loves to color, and that mandalas are the big thing right now for adults. It's just pictures and what it is. So, and for you as a practitioner, Robel, is what brings you joy? What can make you pause so that you can tame the gremlins, understand where you're at, and then come back with peace?
Thank you.
Thank you for a great question.
Amy, Clyde has a great question too. How would you distinguish between imposter syndrome and work environments that are just simply toxic, harmful, or dehumanizing?
Oh, Clyde, we need to meet. I'm not sure. I can't see a picture of you. You're just a Clyde B at the bottom, but I'm not even going to pretend that I can answer that question at the moment, because it purely is distinguishing between what is your hardwiring and how you're feeling versus what are the external factors. And sometimes those converge. And sometimes it might be your team is healthy and harmonious, but the organization as a whole sucks or is dehumanizing, or vice versa. So I am not even going to be able to answer that without knowing more specifics around it. That is a phenomenal question. Clyde, you can be mobile all you want. Thank you for listening in. Lisa, I'm going to call on you. You are begging to ask a question. I can see it, and I've seen it for 42 minutes. Or share your expertise. You've been in this field a long time.
You're referring to me, Lisa. Oh, I correct.
Yes.
Okay, just checking. No, these are great questions that are coming in the chat box, which are really inquisitive, because you're right. You do need to know a little bit more. But when it comes to the imposter syndrome, no doubt we've all experienced it in some way, shape, or form, whether we knew how to title it, call it, or whatever that is. I appreciate the 3 questions that you included. You know, asking yourself, is it true, and what's in your control, and what vulnerability or core values, where is this coming from? That is so important in the work that we do, is reflecting and that holistic approach to who we are and where did we learn these things, and can they be changed? And that's all about change agency, because we all have agency to change, but it's hard. And how do we take those first steps? In the field we're in, the people want us to help them get their ultimate return on their investment, right? They're either going through education or going through training to pursue a better lifestyle for themselves. Now, what is a better lifestyle for one person, and how do you define success is different for everybody. Some may define it by the dollar. Some may define it by who they know and how large their network is. Some may just simply define it by, wow, I woke up today, I must have a purpose. And that's enough to get another day and to be grateful that, wow, I have another day. And I'm going to have these conversations with people, and I may be able to provide input, but I can't guarantee that, number one, they're going to appreciate my words and take it to that next level. Or number 2, I also don't know where they're at in their life. And we get little bits of information when it comes to being a career practitioner. And they may say, you know, I saw in the chat, somebody has an aunt, an uncle, and a mom, everybody who's a nurse, but they don't really feel passionate about that. But they're identifying success by, in their family, if I don't have this title, I'm going to be what? Possibly feeling rejected, possibly feeling like I don't belong. And that's the last thing anybody wants to feel. But at the same time, you have to be true to your inner person and have those tough conversations with, especially people that you love the most, and to say, you know, I'm not cut out to, I could never be a nurse. My mom was a nurse. I couldn't do it. The sight of blood makes me pass out. But I can have a conversation about experiences and talk people through it. So just thank you, Amy. That's all I can say.
No,
thank you for bringing this up.
Lots of things rolling through. And
you're awesome at nonverbal communication.
That's one of the things as career developers that we do, is noticing others. So thank you. I promise, Krista, and I'm 1 minute over. Krista, please take it over.
Well, Amy, again, I just want to thank you. You certainly provided some great information, and definitely all of us will be, mulling over this topic and how we can make an impact with our clients. And just off the top, do you happen to have a book or resource that you use that you would recommend, that as we wanted to maybe delve into this topic a little further? And maybe you could share that with me, and I can send it out, even a follow-up, unless you off the top.
Yeah, definitely. I will share that with you, Krista. But one of the things about Dr. Pauline is she has collected every credible resource since 1978. And it is all listed on our website in an Excel sheet about imposter phenomena. So I will share that with you, and anything and everything that she deems credible is listed on this Excel sheet, and it's an amazing thing and continuously updated.
That's great. I'll share that out with everyone who attended. And everyone, thanks again, Amy. Just to finish up our time, we have a little different focus next month. In October, we're going to be focusing on registered apprenticeships, and our guest will be Cynthia Sherphorn. We'll be sure to send out that registration link when we have that to everyone who participated today. But also a save the date reminder, our fall conference will be Friday, November 12th. It'll be a full day virtual conference, and we are in our season where we're looking for proposals. So if you are looking, I guess specifically at that logo, you see that resilience and reinvention, that's our theme for this fall. And we've been through so much for these last 2 years and lots of resilience that we've exhibited, but it's time to reinvent, or we've been forced to reinvent. We want to help our clients reinvent. So if you have anything around that topic, consider that, joining us as a presenter, and that information is at michcda.org/conference/. So thank you, Amy, again. Thank you everyone for being here today. We look forward to seeing you next month.
Thank you, friends.